What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Rojiku here, bringing you another video helping you with your success in becoming a police officer. I have 14 steps that I have written down that I'm going to go over with you guys that I think are imperative in order to start your career as a police officer. My other two videos that I did, one of them was the workouts that you're going to need in the police academy, and the other one was just how to get mentally prepared and ready, physically prepared for the police academy. What I'm going to be going over with you guys right now is things that you can do to prepare yourself for the FTO phase. FTO actually means Field Training Officer. In our department, we have a mandatory 16-week FTO process that you have to go through before you're even able to be a police officer by yourself. Those 16 weeks are extremely stressful. I cannot stress that enough. Actually, the police academy is like kind of getting you prepared to be yelled at and stuff like that, because when you get out on the street, you know what I mean, these people are, most people are nice, most people are respectful of the police and stuff like that, but you also have to keep in mind there's also people out there that don't like the police at all, and you're gonna have to be able to be yelled at on the street without snapping, without going off on them. It's really just about holding your bearing and stuff like that. So that's pretty what the academy teaches you. That's why they yell at you in the academy. That's why they make you do things that you might not want to do all the time. It's different. See, in our department, we cycle to two different officers. We have one half, which is going to be 8 weeks long with one officer. Then the next 8 weeks, you're going to be with another officer. And it's really strange because you have to switch back and forth, learning how to do different styles of policing. Not every police officer is the same, and that's one thing I really want to go over, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that think that policing is only done one way. There's multiple ways to be a police officer. There's multiple ways to be proactive. Some police officers are not proactive. Some officers like to really get into stuff. Some people like to sit back and take their calls. Everybody's different, and nobody's really doing the wrong style of policing, because I don't really think there is a wrong style of policing. Obviously, there's bad cops out there, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love police. I'm a police officer myself, but you know, in reality, there are bad police officers out there, and most of the time, you're going to get an FTO that's really good, really well-rounded. Each FTO is chosen for a specific reason. I know you have to actually go through some kind of training to be an FTO, so there's a lot of stuff that goes into being an FTO. I think the first thing that people have to really get ready for is out of the academy. I don't think that people understand that you're going out of a controlled environment, out of an environment where everything is controlled, everything is planned, to an environment where you can't really know what's coming your way. Like when you go to the academy, you know you're going to get destroyed in training. You know you're going to get yelled at. You know you're going to have papers. You know you're going to have this and that. When you go out on the street, you have no idea what you're in store for, what's in store for you that day. So I think that's like one of the things that people have to really get out of their mind. When you're out of the academy, leave a lot of that stuff at the academy, as far as thinking that you know how your day is going to go. Of course, everybody wants to go to work and have a good day, but you have to keep in mind that it might not happen. You have to keep in mind that, you know, you have to keep your head on a swivel at all times. You have to stay focused at all times. When you leave the academy, you're out in the real world, and it's a completely different ballgame. This is actually a step that I had from my original video, how to get ready for police academy, but I'm going to go over this one again. Get mentally prepared. Not only do you need to be mentally prepared for your FTO, in our department, a lot of our FTOs are old school, so they like to make you keep your head shaved throughout your training. You know, you can't do certain things throughout your training, and that's just honestly so that you can keep it in your head that, you know, I'm almost there, but I still have a lot to learn. That's one of the main things you want to bring out from the academy with you, is just that mindset that you're still in a learning process. I mean, you're always going to learn. I've been on the street since December of 2017, and like I still have like so many things to learn. Every time I go to work, I learn something new. There's guys in the department that have been there for 3-4 years, maybe even longer than that are still learning stuff every time they go to work. So just, you know, they really do that to kind of keep you in a mindset that you still need to learn, you still need to stay focused. They don't want you to get relaxed. But getting mentally prepared, not only for your FTO, you want to get mentally prepared for the people on the street as well. You want to get prepared because you're going to be dealing with people from all walks of life. You're going to be dealing with older people. You're going to be dealing with younger people. You're going to be dealing with juveniles, kids. You're going to see a lot of stuff out there that you really did not even think was going on in the world. Until you become a police officer, there's a lot of stuff that you don't even know what's going on in your city. So you have to get mentally prepared in the mindset that, you know, anything can happen at any time. The second thing I really want you guys to remember, and going into this, is always pay attention to detail. When I say pay attention to detail, I mean know where you are at all times. When you're about to go on a call, when they dispatch you to a call, always know where you are, know where you're going to park your vehicle, know where you're leaving your vehicle when you go to your call. Always pay attention to detail. Take mental notes. 100% take mental notes. Take mental notes of the people you deal with, because some of those people might become your regulars. Take mental notes of certain alleyways and back ways you can take to get places. When you have to go emergency, when you have to go lights and sirens, you have to always remember that you might have to take shortcuts to get there in order to get there in a faster fashion. So always take mental notes of what you're doing and where you're going. There's certain gear that you're going to need on the street. I like to go with, I don't want to say above what you need, but I like to go with exactly what you need. Some officers like to go with the bare minimum, 1 pair of handcuffs, you know, stuff like that, 1 handcuff key. You never know if you're going to get in a foot pursuit one night and lose your handcuff key. I wear the Viper Tech hinge cuffs that are a lot more uncomfortable. They keep the subject's hands a lot tighter behind their back. And they're just not really super comfortable. No handcuffs are, but those are the main ones you really want to be using. I have 2 sets of chain handcuffs, one for female and one for men. The female ones are just a little smaller. A tourniquet, you can never go wrong with having a tourniquet. Out of the academy, we got tourniquet training by our department, and they pretty much show you how to use the tourniquet and wrap up any kind of wound you might get that's causing like really heavy bleeding. It'll lock up the wound and stop the blood from coming out. So you definitely want to be able to get a tourniquet and learn how to use it. I carry 2 flashlights, 2 to 3 flashlights on me. I have one on the top of my vest that I can use at car stops or anytime I'm writing something in my hand and I don't want to have a light under my arm or something. I just click this one and turn it on. I have one in my vest and I have one in my pocket. You never know, one of your flashlights might stop working, batteries might die. Always carry at least, I would suggest 2 to 3 flashlights on you. Carry extra handcuff keys. They have the regular handcuff keys, which I don't really like. I like the handcuff key pens. It looks like a little pen, and it actually has a handcuff key at the bottom of it. I'm actually going to make a video on my gear, so probably after this video in a couple weeks, I'll make that video on my gear. The last 2 things I really suggest you guys get some metal pins. Metal pins are really good because of multiple reasons. I'm sure your FTO will go over with you why you want metal pins. The main reason why I use them is because when you're writing tickets, they help press into the paper, because you got to write over multiple pages at once to write tickets. It actually presses through the paper and helps the ink bleed through if you use the metal pins, because they're firmer. And then also, you really obviously notebooks. You need notebooks, a lot of them. I would say get like 10 notebooks to start. You're gonna go through them super quick. And when you're writing notes, pay very close attention to your note taking. On my notes, I actually have I write a line whenever I'm done a certain case or whatever. If I go out on a call, I'll write a line and start a new line so I don't get confused. And I also write the date of each call. So if you write the date and the time of each call you go on, you'll never be confused. Last but not least, you're really gonna need a duty bag. Duty bag is pretty much like a duffel bag, but it's designed to carry police gear. I carry an extra light in mine. I carry my extra ammo for my duty weapon in there. I carry extra pens. I have my ticket book in there. I have my clipboard that I carry all my forms and everything like that. So definitely get like a duty bag so you can set up all your forms and extra stuff in. I just really want you guys to try your best not to get overwhelmed with all the information you're going to be getting. You're going to be getting a lot of information, a lot at one time. What I did to help me out, to help me stay grounded mentally so that way I didn't like burst, I had a notepad, not including like the notepads you write your notes in. I have like an actual notepad, and whenever I have downtime at the department, when out on a call, or if we're in the car, if your FTO lets you, or when you're at home, being at home is another thing. Write down everything that you learned from that day and study it. The next one is eating. Eating, you have to be prepared to eat on the go. If you're in a busy city like I am, you don't have a lot of downtime to just sit there and eat, especially on day shift. Day shift is crazy. You're like nonstop on your feet. Car accidents, frauds, all kinds of crazy stuff you deal with on days that you usually don't deal with on night shift. You have to really be prepared to eat on the go. If you want to bring like protein bars, snack bars with you to eat on the go, you're not really always going to have time to sit down and eat. I know at our department, especially on day shift, we never get time to sit there and eat. You're gonna have to bring something with you on the go. So if you guys don't cook, going back to the academy, it's really easy for me to cook and bring food to work, because in the academy, you know, in our academy, we had to bring our lunch every single day. So it's really not that hard for me to do that. So if you guys don't cook or anything, make sure you get started on that. Another good tip that I can give you guys that your FTO is going to be watching out for: always pay attention to where your weapon is. Never have anything in your dominant, your strong hand. That's what they call it. We had a guy that used to come in that used to have a coffee in his strong hand all the time, and one of the sergeants actually said something to him about it. And if you have something in your strong hand, especially on a car stop, that's another thing. Why would you have something in your strong hand if you need to reach for your weapon for any reason? You have to go out of your way to drop it or throw it. When you always need to keep your dominant and your strong hand open. So always pay attention to where your weapon is and never have everything in your dominant hand, because they will say something to you about that. It's really a safety issue. My first night on FTO, I'll admit it, we were out there with a suspect and I had my side turned to him and I was not securing my weapon at all. Never have your hand over your weapon like you're protecting it, because they'll sense that you're kind of, you know, overreacting as far as like keeping your weapon safe. But always be careful with knowing where your weapon is. You don't per se have to have your hand over to grab it, but you know, keep your dominant and your strong side a little arched to who you're talking to, and always stay in your ready stance, so that way if you have to grab your weapon or anything at all, you're always ready to do so. Come early to work. I, even to this day, I've been off of FTO for 2 months now, and I actually got on the street in December. Come early to work. I cannot stress that enough. They like to see that when you come in early to work that you're ready to go. Your FTO might not come in early to work. Your FTO might actually come in a couple minutes after he's supposed to be there, or maybe a couple minutes before, but it show up to work 15 to 20 minutes early. It's just, you're still new. You don't want to make it seem like you run the place. You don't want to make it seem like you own the place. You don't want to make it seem like you've been there for 10 years. Come early, just like you would go to the academy. I would definitely say 15 to 20 minutes, come early. Once you get familiar with doing the job, start taking some initiative. I know that sounds weird because you're in a structured training program. Don't go over the top taking initiative, but your FTO wants to see that you can do stuff on your own. For the first 2 evaluations, they might not go over the top with making you, you know, take initiative and stuff like that. But if you're almost done your FTO and you don't take initiative to lock somebody up when you have to write tickets, you have to go out there and take initiative sometimes to show them that you can think for yourself. They don't always have to think for you. You want to show them that you can think for yourself. The reason why I say take initiative is because you never want your FTO or any other officer to feel like you're not adequate enough to have their back. The main thing that you have to remember is it's about going to work every day and going home. It's about you getting you and your brothers home every single day, brothers and sisters home every single day. You have to show them that you have the ability to watch their back at all times. If you're getting beat up, you better put up a fight, or at least try to put up a fight and make it look like you're putting up a fight. You never want your FTO or any other officers to make it seem like you don't have their back, or you don't have the ability to have their back. Like I said, I've been in my department since December of 2017. I finished my academy training back in the middle of December. Yes sir, no sir, common courtesy. Address everybody by yes or no sir, at least for your first 2 months by yourself. I still, to this day, every officer I see, I address by yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. Always address them by those titles, because it shows that you still show respect to them, and you didn't just get out of your training and just feel like you run the place. So like I said, it's just common courtesy. We even have guys that have been there for 10 years that address the sergeants and the lieutenants and the higher ups, all the brats, by yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. So don't let that leave your head. It's very important. One thing that a lot of guys that get out of the academy do is they talk too much sometimes. Now, asking questions, ask as many questions as you want. Your FTO is going to want you to ask questions. Another thing about asking questions, never ask another FTO questions if your FTO is around. Try to refrain from asking questions to any other officer or FTO if you can help it at all. If you're asking other people, you know, other officers, especially other FTOs, like certain questions, and your FTO is going to feel like he's not teaching you, and that's actually a sign of disrespect to them. That's another thing. I'm saying this stuff out of experience to you guys. So I asked another FTO a question when my FTO was in the room, and it was stupid of me, but you know, sometimes you're so overwhelmed and maybe your FTO is busy with something, you don't want to disturb them, but never ask another FTO a question. But back to talking. Don't talk too much. Like I said, asking questions is one thing, but if you're gonna sit there and you know, run your mouth talking about how you do this, do that, you know, your FTO is gonna want to get to know you. Throughout those weeks that you're with your FTO, you guys are gonna get to know each other very well. But what I mean by don't talk too much is, if you're in briefing and all the guys are hanging out laughing and talking, you know, sit there. As a matter of fact, in our briefing, the whole entire FTO, we had to stand up in the back. But some departments are different, some squads are different, depends on your squad and department. But if everyone's sitting there cracking jokes and stuff like that and they're not addressing you, don't say anything. Don't make it seem like you're like, oh, I'm one of the guys now, I'm done in the academy, even off of FTO. You know what I mean? You're still new, you're still learning the job, and you didn't really earn that right to blend in yet. So, you know, definitely don't sit there laughing and joking with everybody, gossiping and stuff like that, especially not right out of the academy. Sit there, hold your bearings, and if you're addressed, then that's one thing. Learn your cardinal directions. You're gonna really want to learn south, east, west, and north. It's very, very important for you to learn those so that you can know which way. If you get a foot pursuit and you got to jump out and run on somebody, you're going to want to know where you're going. You know, I'm heading east on this street. You know, this is around me, stuff like that. You want to know where you are at all times. There's actually a lot of guides and stuff like that that can teach you. But what I did in my city is I took 4 major landmarks that were on all 4 different cardinal spots of the city, and I just went by that. Like, we have an apartment complex that we call Wade East, and where I live. So at that point, you know, obviously it's going to be on the east side of the city. So you just take, what I would suggest for you guys to do is just take 4 major landmarks or places that you're familiar with and just figure out their cardinal directions and use it that way. That's a good way to start. Pay attention to your radio. Very important to pay attention to your radio. Even if you're not being addressed on the radio, always make sure your radio's on and make sure it's not super loud, but loud enough so that you can hear it. If you're around a lot of other officers, obviously it's common courtesy to turn your radio down. You don't want it blaring out and annoying everybody because you all have your radios on, but pay attention to your radio at all times. The reason why I say that is because a lot of the process of learning the radio is paying attention to it. When I was learning the radio, I always had my radio on, and I was always listening, whether it was my number getting called or someone else's number. You know, if there's a foot pursuit going on, you're going to want to get over there. If there's a car pursuit going on, and it just helps you learn the codes. There's actually codes on the radio. Every department has codes. You're going to want to learn your codes. So what I did, I asked my FTO for a list of all the codes that we use, and I just circled all the major ones, the ones you use every single day, and I started with that, and I studied them. So pay attention to the radio, get those codes, and learn that. Never bring your job home. I know that that's one of those things that a lot of officers try to stress, especially in the academy, about bringing the job home. There's going to be stuff on the street that you're going to see that, like I said, it's going to be hard. It really is going to be hard sometimes for you to deal with it. I know a lot of officers will say, well, sometimes you'll become numb to it because you deal with it so much. Some people don't. Some people, it hits home every single time, whether you're dealing with an accident that has like a fatality with a kid or something like that. It hits home because some of these officers have kids. You know, it's one of those things you definitely want to refrain from bringing your job home with you if you can help it. If something good happened at work, if you want to talk about it with your significant other or your kids or something like that, that's one thing. But all the negative, try to keep it out of your home because it actually stays in the environment. I'm a strong believer in that. And last but not least, guys, make sure you stay safe. Stay safe, stay focused. Never, ever, ever, ever get complacent. Getting complacent is actually like one of the #1 things that get police officers killed. So never get complacent. Always go to work and pay attention like it's your first day on the job. Just keep your eyes peeled and watch the hands. What I mean by watch the hands, that's another very important thing that your FTO is going to teach you. Someone else's hands can get you killed. At all times, when you go up to somebody on a pedestrian stop, you go up to them on any kind of situation, the first thing you need to do is check out where their hands are. If their hands are in their pocket rummaging around, you order them to get their damn hands out of their pocket immediately. That is not a game. Hands will get you killed. And with that said, I hope you guys have really good luck with your police academy training. Also staying in shape after the academy and your FTO training as well. Again, if you guys have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section at the bottom. You guys have been very supportive of my other police videos, and I actually have 2 or 3 more that I'm going to do inside of this series. So I really appreciate you guys' support. Good luck in your police journey, and I will catch you guys later. Stay safe.